Hey everybody, so a lot of Marvel stuff is happening this week. So much stuff that we can't talk about just one without talking about like all of them. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about all of them. First up, Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah!
Doctor Strange.
This is exciting. You know, this has been a project that they've been talking about for years.
It's one of these projects with Marvel that like Kevin Feige has always been like, this is my pet project. If I could get Doctor Strange on screen, that would be great. And so it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll see when it happens. And then it's happening.
It's funny because in the Winter Soldier, right, they talked about Stephen Strange.
Yeah, up on the rooftop scene where Sitwell is like rattling off all the targets. They mentioned Stephen Strange right up there with Tony Stark.
Who's gonna direct this Doctor Strange movie?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a guy named Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson directed Sinister. He directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose. His next movie, Deliver Us from Evil, is coming out here in a couple of weeks.
You know, I think this is a really interesting choice. I mean, the thing is, this guy clearly, you know, only does really horror movies. Right. That's what he's known for, and so it's really kind of bold. I think it's not what everyone expected for something like a superhero movie.
Yeah, and that's another really interesting thing that Marvel is doing, and they're sort of like collecting genres at this point. You know, they've done the big fantasy stuff with Thor, they've done the more grounded action stuff with Cap 2 that was like a spy thriller, and then so now we got a horror movie director for a Doctor Strange movie. So they're really ticking off all of these different genres. I think the only one they're missing is like some weird madcap, like Doubtfire-esque sort of romantic comedy.
Yeah, well, I think if you really know enough about Doctor Strange, though, this actually kind of makes sense. I mean, Doctor Strange, he's a sorcerer supreme, right? His whole deal is basically he protects the Earth against, like, dark, evil, black magic attacks against it. And a lot of his villains are, like, these rulers of other dimensions that torment humans. They're basically demons, but with a sci-fi edge. Frankly, I actually think Scott Derrickson is a cool choice because it should be a darker movie. It should be scarier because, you know, Nightmare is scary as hell. You know, he's like Freddy Krueger, basically. You got Dormammu, who's also really freaky. He's basically Satan.
So yeah, it's going to be a different genre completely with this choice of director. And obviously there's some casting rumors that have been going around, but you know, Jared Leto is a name that's been thrown out there. Johnny Depp was that was like a while ago.
You know, Jared Leto I don't think is a bad choice. I mean, when you think of Doctor Strange, what's interesting about him is he was a surgeon who was like a total dick. He was a total, like, you know, he was an a-hole kind of like God complex type of guy. He got in a car crash, his hands got ruined, he wasn't able to do this, so he goes to Tibet and learns, you know, mysticism.
As
and becomes,
one does when they get into a car accident and lose control of their hands.
I mean, what else is a surgeon to do? I'm pretty sure they did this on Grey's Anatomy at some point. I've always had a dream of who I wanted Doctor Strange to be. It'll probably never happen, but I want Marvel to just roll up, smack down a $20 million check, okay? And I want them to just go, yo, check it out. Daniel Day-Lewis, be Doctor Strange.
Daniel Day-Lewis. I will make this bet right now with you. I will eat my hat.
Whoa!
So we don't know who's going to be in it yet, but we do know Scott Derrickson's going to direct it. It's going to be a horror movie. It's going to be a whole new genre for Marvel to collect. Which also brings us to the other bit of news that's been going on. Obviously, the AntMan director situation. Edgar Wright left last week. But the replacement directors that they're looking for this, the short list that came out was Adam McKay, Rawson Thurber, and Ruben Fleischer. All three of which are comedy directors. McKay said he's not doing it. It looks like Fleischer is going to be attached to the Ghostbusters movie instead.
Exactly.
So it's sort of narrowed down to Thurber, who is as sort of broadly middle-of-the-road comedy director as you can get. We're the Millers was fun, and it snuck up, and it made a lot of money and did really well.
But who cares?
But it was fine. And Dodgeball was a lot of fun, too, but those are really his only two movies. The whole situation, it's just a no-win situation for whatever poor schmo ends up having to direct Ant-Man.
Whether you like Edgar Wright or not, he is an auteur. He has his own vision. You can watch, like, you know, 15 seconds of Edgar Wright movie and know it's an Edgar Wright movie. He's got a stamp. And I don't think anyone wants to, like, take on something like that.
But here's the thing. I don't think it is an Edgar Wright movie anymore.
No, it's true.
That's why he left, because the script came back changed, and it's not going to be an Edgar Wright movie. But I still think one of the things that happened was that they're trying to tie Ant-Man even more closely to the rest of the MCU. Originally, like, Ant-Man and Guardians were going to be kind of these side things, and they'll be in the same universe, but not really. They'll kind of be over here. But now I feel like they're really going to tie them all together. And because the project was in development for so long, because Ant-Man has been in development since, what, 2006? Something like that? It makes a lot of sense that this would have been a last-minute addition. Meanwhile, the other thing that's going on in Marvel right now is there are all kinds of Guardians of the Galaxy rumors coming out right now because the movie is starting to do some test screening. There's even a review of the entire movie that's been released that I'm not looking at just on general principle. Yeah, it just describes the movie start to finish. I started reading it, I'm like, no, I'm out. So the one thing that we have confirmed is that Josh Brolin is going to be Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is really exciting. I think he's going to be awesome. He even kind of looks like Thanos.
He does, yeah. I wonder
give him a bigger chin and he's Thanos. The other rumors going around associated with that is that Thanos' role in Guardians of the Galaxy is actually pretty beefy.
Really?
Like, he pops up a couple of times, but his influence is like covering the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which also brings up the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
Which we've seen has been set up in the MCU since the first Thor movie. You could see it in Odin's weapon room. And, and then all the things that have been going on in the MCU, from the Tesseract to Loki's scepter to the Ether and Thor the Dark World. And everybody's just kind of assuming that the little orb that Peter Quill is stealing in the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be another one of these stones. So that leaves 4. There's 6 total, right? 6 total Infinity Stones. So 2 more would be in Ant-Man and Doctor Strange. If suddenly they're making Edgar Wright throw this big ol' Infinity Stone of a MacGuffin into his Ant-Man script, and it changes everything up.
See, I have this problem. It's like I'm the kid in between 2 divorced parents. Because I love Edgar Wright. I love all of his movies. But I like what Marvel's been doing. I like how all these, it feels like the comics. All these movies go together and they're all one seamless thing.
For me, it's just a way to, because I was so excited about Edgar Wright doing one of these movies, for me, it's just a way to like rationalize being okay with the fact that he's not doing the movie anymore. Because I am such a big fan of what Marvel's doing and how it's all tied together and everything. And so obviously, like, if there was this thing that they put into, that they're squeezing into Ant-Man, that's more about setting up Avengers 3 than it is about telling the Ant-Man story that Edgar Wright wanted to tell, like, I'll figure out how to live with that. And the other little thing that I'm rooting for, and again, I've been a big proponent of a Planet Hulk movie.
Oh, I know,
is that Doctor Strange is part of the Illuminati, and the Illuminati are the ones that sent him off to Planet Hulk. So like, I got my fingers crossed for Phase 4 Planet Hulk movie, leading into the Avengers for World War Hulk. So, that's a lot of Marvel stuff. That's not even all the Marvel stuff that's happening. Because we didn't even get to talk about how they're probably canceling the Fantastic Four comics. As possibly just a dick move to Fox. That's a whole other conversation that we didn't even get a chance to talk about. So let us know what you think about that and all the other great Marvel stuff that's happening right now in the comments below. Click like and subscribe, and come back next time. More movie news, more Hulks on CineFix Now. Just anything, any little bit of news to get a Planet Hulk movie going. I'm on board for.